Welcome back, Muffy Mafia. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be fixing an issue that I mentioned in my last video that happened to me on my week-long camp trip. So we're going to be fixing one of my camp gear accessories. My Blackstone. Let's get into this video. Alright, now as many of you know, I have picked up one of the Blackstone camping griddles that released and you can get through Walmart. They do have two variations of this. One is a full griddle, but the one that I picked up is actually a 14-inch griddle with a side burner. And I kind of like this one just because I like the options. The 14-inch burner is amazing. The issue arose when I went to go put this away. I packed it up just like this, and I was going to pack it away in my Overland Gear Guys bag just for some added protection in here. And what ended up happening is I went to go grab the handle and the handle came off. Kind of a big issue if you're trying to move this contraption. Now I did post about this kind of on my Instagram, just kind of saying I love this unit, but this handle could definitely use a redesign. And Blackstone actually reached out to me after I had messaged them on Instagram just to kind of say, hey, my handle broke, what can we do to fix this? And their customer service reached out to me, kind of told me how to go through and do a warranty claim. I highly recommend you do register this with Blackstone, because then that makes the process just that much faster. So I went through, registered it with Blackstone. They ended up sending me out another handle fairly quickly. Very communicative through the whole process, just through emails, super helpful. And I really appreciate their customer service and taking care of me. So now I can replace my handle so I can actually use this again instead of picking it up on the sides to try and get this back in my bag. Let's go through and fix this thing. Okay, so first up, we're gonna have to open up the Blackstone griddle. So we'll just go ahead and undo the two latches, open this up, make sure the lid latches, and we're gonna be taking all of this out so that way we can get to where we need to attach the new handle. To remove the griddle on this particular model, you'll need to lift up the base, and underneath there is a little knob here. You'll need to push that up and turn so that way it undoes the lock on right here where my finger is on the side of the griddle, and then you're able to just basically pivot that and take it out of the way. And this right here is the little locking mechanism that latches the griddle to the base here. All right, next up we'll have to remove the burner grill. So we'll just go ahead and pull that up and out. There's quite a few screws that we need to remove in order to get to the handle. We've got 3 across the front here, and we may need to take off this burner. So we've got 2 screws there, and then we've got another screw kind of holding the spark in place. Everything else doesn't look like it's going to need to come off, but we'll give that a shot and kind of go from there. So all of these are Phillips head. You can use a flat head. Just take your time. Do not be aggressive with these because you can strip these screws. All right, now there is a specific order in which you want to remove the screws. You can go ahead and remove the 2 back screws, but be careful because you'll want to loosen your spark screw so that way you can move that out of the way in order to remove the burner. Be sure that you don't try to remove this burner without loosening this. Now we can move ahead and remove the 3 front screws. Just remember to take your time. Okay, now that we have these screws undone, I just found another one that's actually behind the burner here. So we are going to have to remove this burner over here. Now your spark igniter is also attached to this burner screw, so just be mindful of that. And we can just pivot that off to the side. Now on the back of the unit we have another 4 screws. We'll be removing those, and I think that should remove the tray on the inside. Okay, now that we have removed all the screws, we got 4 here, 3 across here. We just loosened this one up. We removed the screw holding all of this down, and there's 4 back screws on the back side of the Blackstone holding this tray down. All we need to do, we won't be able to actually remove this inner tray, but we need to get it out of the way enough so that way we can get to the screws on the back of the handle pieces. And what we can do is we can unscrew the cap that actually locks down the griddle to the base, and that should allow us even more clearance, so that way we can get back here and get a screwdriver to undo these screws. We just lift this up and out of the way. I believe we might even be able to just set this off to the side. Let that dangle there, and now we're able to access without any issue. And here you can kind of see, kind of the fail point that I had on this handle. And this new handle actually has a little bit better design to it. You can actually pop the sides off, and you can see the difference that they've made. So they actually have a center piece here and a little key, and that all fits together, which should give a little bit more structure on the inside of the handle. On the old handle, there really isn't anything holding anything together, so that thin plastic was the only thing retaining the handle, and as you can see on this one, it just broke off. So we'll just make sure that we're installing the Blackstone up correctly. We'll go ahead and line these up and get these screwed in. All right, we're hand tight, we got the handle in. Now we're just going to reassemble everything and call it good. All right, now that we have all of the screws back in, we'll just replace our grill. We can replace our griddle. And underneath, we'll just make sure that we lock this back into place. Now our griddle's not going to go anywhere. We have our cage back on. We'll pop the knobs back on, just like so. Everything is looking good. Got the spark for everything. And now our Blackstone is back together with the brand new, more sturdy handle. Loving it. Time for a final wrap up. All right, just a couple of things before I wrap up this video. Just note that if you decide to do your own maintenance on the Blackstone, you do so at your own risk. This is just my experience because I actually did not get instructions on how to replace the handle, but I am grateful for Blackstone's quick customer service and getting me a new handle that's actually a lot better. Yes, the old handle definitely was not sturdy enough, and I'm glad that they came through with the new handle. A couple of key takeaways: if you do decide to work on your own Blackstone, definitely take your time One thing that I noticed was that when removing the screws on the back and kind of the 3 screws across the front, those are push points, push and pull points. They're actually pulling the body together. So be sure to take your time. I suggest starting with the back, loosen those up so that way you do have a little bit play when removing the front 3 screws. And it will also help when you're putting it back together. Give yourself a little play on the back 4 screws so that way you can line up the 3 front and then go back and tighten down your rear screws. These screws are very, very susceptible to damage. So you will strip these out if you're not super careful. Take your time. Don't just, get in there and try and wrench on these screws. You will strip them out, and if you do that, you might actually have to drill a head out of them. So bear that in mind. Those are a couple of things that I ran into. The other thing I found out is you actually don't need to take the knobs off and unscrew the controls here. That was just an added step. I just thought it might help with me pulling that base tray out so I could get to the screws holding in the handle. If you do have an issue with the handle, be sure to register your Blackstone with them and contact their customer service. They were super helpful in getting me a claim. Make sure you take pictures of what the issue was. That's what I did, and they certainly did come through. Now, I messaged them through Instagram, and eventually they kind of caught up, but it is better to go through their email service. So if you have any sort of warranty issue or anything like that, be sure to keep the information, which is right here on this card. Make sure you have your serial number and all that ready to go, because you will need to fill out a little bit of information, kind of where you got this, all that stuff. But I am glad to have this back. This handle definitely feels a lot more sturdy. It's definitely not twisting, and having that key and that center hole that the old handle didn't have definitely reinforces this handle and is a much better design. So keep that in mind. If yours has broken, hopefully this helps in replacing it. Let me know what you think. Make sure to leave your comments down below. If you like this video, smash that like button. Be sure that you're subscribed for more videos like this. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.